friends. Just gonna give it a minute. See if the friends come on. If you haven't already seen my link, I posted a link to... Hi! If you haven't already seen it on my community page here on YouTube or on my Instagram stories, I posted a bingo. So you could check it out on my Instagram stories. Karen_Runwright reads over there. And this is what the bingo card looks like. It's just a card, 5 square, 5 across, 5 down. So I'm going to invite you, as we do our reading sprints, to leave an emoji in the comments. You could choose whatever emoji, and I'm going to see if I match the emojis that you choose, which is why the bingo squares, each individual square is covered up. So I'm just going to flash it because I don't want to see. So I have a word to match that I'm going to be using to keep track of the emojis that you share. So if you look on my community tab here on YouTube, or if you look at my Instagram stories, you'll see my bingo card. So I'm just going to invite you to put an emoji in the comments. And your emoji could be about where you are, what you're doing, what your book is about. So these are the 2 books that I'm going to be reading today. I started reading this, and I also started reading this. So I'm going to try to make progress on both of them. I want to finish both of these for a reading challenge that I'm participating in. It is a Facebook group that I joined many years ago. And twice a year we have this challenge, and we choose in advance, we choose the books that we want to read to match 10 prompts. So we have 4 months to read these 10 books. And I read sometimes more than 10 books in a month, but I struggle to finish these 10 books in a 4-month period, just because we have to choose our books in advance. And sometimes the things that I have to read, they don't match the prompts. And you can change your selections for each prompt, but I don't want to stress the administrators. So I like to keep my original list as much as possible. So the organizer for that Facebook challenge, her name is Gray. Her name is Erin Gray. And one of the prompts this time was to choose a book where the author's first name was Erin or her last name is Gray. So some people were reading like The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern, or I think is it Morgenstern or Morgenstern? And I thought about it, but I'm not sure that is my genre. So this had been on my TBR list for a long time. This is a library copy, but I have wanted to read this for a while because, again, if you're following me on Instagram, you may have seen me do a post where I showed 2 books that have very similar covers. It's this one and The Comfort of Crows by Margaret Renkl. They have very similar to me covers. So I had wanted to check out both books, just see what was the difference, what was the similarity between these 2 books. So this is one that I had wanted to read, and so I was glad that I was able to fit it into that challenge. So I started reading it, and it's really interesting so far. The author is a Black woman, and the book is being pitted as The Mothers Meet an American Marriage. I read An American Marriage, and it made me think, what about An American Marriage? Because Tayari Jones covered a lot of different subjects and themes in that book. What about that book is going to be similar in here? And so I'll tell you, because it's in the first chapter, first few pages. The main character in here, the woman, is incarcerated. And we're reading about her experience being incarcerated. And it seems as though her husband is also, she and her husband were both incarcerated at the same time. Opening line of this book, you do a lot of thinking in jail, especially when you're locked in the box, that's your cell. And she is talking about some of the things that she has lost. Just being locked up. She also flashes back a little bit and talks about her running it seems like a diner kind of establishment in what I think is maybe like a small town, one of those towns that was built around an industry that has died or is dying or declining. And she talks about how, like, having lost their livelihood because the major income generator in the community was going away or had gone away. And she and her husband had this they had this thing, they had this little routine that they did every day where right before they started, like, I guess dinner service, they would talk to each other and say, is today the day when the people will start coming back? And so when the police officers showed up, they saw them as potential customers, not what they actually came for. So really, really good writing in the first few pages. I started reading this a few days ago, put it aside because I was reading some other things, and then I picked it up again last night, and I'm really invested. I want to read it. It is, I think, dual perspective, at least two perspectives. We're reading about Althea, maybe three, because there are three sisters: Althea, Viola, and Lillian. And I'm intrigued. So let me know if you've read this one or if it's something that's on your TBR so we can chat about it as well. It is blurbed by Terry McMillan. Terry McMillan, we know her from Waiting to Exhale, but I haven't read a Terry McMillan book lately, but I don't think I've ever seen her on a blurb. Book is also blurred by Delia Owens, who's the author of Where the Crawdads Sing, which was a book that I really enjoyed when I read it. But some of the reviews that I have heard since I finished the book have not been glorious. So I'm not sure. It's one of those books that after you've talked about it, you kind of want to revisit it to see how other people's opinions maybe compare with your own. Anyway, that's one of the books. This is one of the books that I'm going to be reading. The other book is this. I have started this and put it back and picked it back up and put it back several times now. And it's not because the book isn't great, because it is. It's one of those books that you want to read. You know that you probably should read. But it's over 500 pages. And closer to 605. It's 580 pages. And you just know that it's probably going to impact you in a way. You're not sure if you can commit the time to that emotion. But I said I want to read it. It's on my challenge. This will tick off several things in my reading journal. It is on my overall big picture TBR, books that I want to read sometime soon because I feel like they're going to help me fill in places in the literary canon that I have never explored. This is on that list. Like I said, this is for my Facebook challenge. Also, I'm trying to read books that are set at different times in the past. This one was first published, I think, in 1952. Books by Black authors. Checks a lot of boxes. So I definitely want to read this. So these are the two books I'm going to be reading today. We are going to keep track of our emojis. So if you're just joining, leave an emoji in the comments and let's see if we match. We're doing a little viewer match bingo. So this is my bingo card. I don't know how to put it on the screen. Can I add it to the screen? This is the bingo card blocked out. There we go. A little bit. So this is the bingo card blocked out, because I'm hoping that with the emojis that you put in, that your emoji will match the ones that I have covered up here. And so on my little card right here, these are some of the words that the emoji describe. And we're going to leave it open to interpretation. Hi, Brown Girl Reading. Please drop an emoji in the... Oh, I see your emoji. Oh, man. I don't think I have that one. I don't think I have that one, but thank you so much for posting. I'm going to make it work. A lot of my words on my card are very open to to interpretation. So I got you. I got you. Thank you so much. Thank you. What are you reading? What are you reading, Dee Dee? I'm pretty sure that you have read this book. So I just started again, and I'm at page 23. I'm going to be reading today. So we're going to start a reading sprint at 11:20. I'm going to start a reading sprint at 11:20. Let me know what you're reading, what if you're starting something new or if you're continuing something. I had a little snack. I had some apple slices with peanut butter, and while I was waiting for the show to I was waiting for the show to get started on YouTube, because sometimes it takes a little while to accept the live stream. I almost finished my snack. Thank you for the other emoji. Okay, all right, I got you. I got you. We have matched. Thank you. I'm gonna let me see. I should have done it in Canvas so I could take them all one at a time. Hi, friends. Hi, Fatima. Hi, S. Thank you for your emojis. Let me see. Uh, is that are those masks? Like a masquerade? Is that what your book is about, or that's just something that are you wearing a mask? Brown Girl Reading is reading The Potato Factory by Bryce Courtenay. I have not read that. I am not familiar with that title. Is that a novel? I'm gonna look it up right now. You know me, I always want a book recommendation. Let me know if you recommend it, Didi. Where's my... Okay, go. The Potato Factory. Is it anything like the literary and potato peel, the Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Society? That's the other book that I have read recently that had potato in the title. Not at all, she says, not at all. Okay. Oh, Fatima says it's a suspense thriller. Okay. That's The Potato Factory? The Potato Factory is a 1995 fictionalized historical novel by Bryce Courtenay, which was made into a 4-part miniseries in Australia. Okay. It has been the subject of some controversy regarding its historical accuracy and its portrayal of Jewish characters. Book is based on The Prince of Fences, and the basis of the Fagin character is a Charles Dickens novel, Oliver Twist. I read Oliver Twist when I was a child. I'm not positive. Okay. It's about the beginning of Australia. Okay. You mean the beginning of the British occupation of Australia? Or is it including the Aboriginal community? I'm interested. You had me at potato. I'm intrigued. I want to know why the potato is in the title. I'm so okay. I'm taking a screenshot because I am going to be adding this to my TBR later. You had me. How big is the book? Oh, when they first sent over the convicts. Okay. Potato liquor. So vodka, moonshine. Okay, I love it. Thank you so much. Fatima is reading Rules of Engagement by Stacey Abrams. Okay, I haven't read that yet, but I I'm fascinated by the person, Stacey Abrams. All right, we are going to start our reading sprint because that's why that's why we said we were here. We're going to read for 20 minutes. So I'm going to put 20 minutes on my timer. And let me know how many pages you read. I'm not a fast reader. It depends on what I'm reading. It depends. It really depends. Some things I can go fast, some things not so much. They make me stop and think. So 20 minutes on the clock starting now. And I'll see you at 11:41. Oh my goodness. Let me know in the comments if you've read this, The Invisible Man. No, Invisible Man by Ralph Ellison. So I think I read somewhere that Ralph Ellison was named after Ralph Waldo Emerson, right? Um, I'm gonna fact check, fact check myself. Ralph Ellison. Invisible Man won the U.S. National Book Award for Fiction in 1953, making Ellison the first African American to win the award. That's good to know. According to the New York Times, Barack Obama modeled his 1995 memoir, Dreams from My Father, on this novel. If you know this, please feel free to please feel free to tell me in the comments. In any case, I found it was interesting because in this section that I was just reading, he mentions Ralph Waldo Emerson. So, Invisible Man, thus far, is about a young black man in the 1950s, 1940s, and 50s, coming to awareness of how society perceives him, that people don't see him as an individual, that he is just a part of a community, a part of the black community, if that. But he keeps revisiting this word or this phrase, invisibility or invisible man, or yeah, those I think are the most frequent phrases that he uses. Invisibility as a word, invisible man as a phrase, and we see that several places because even in interactions that he has with other people, he notices that they kind of look through him. They're not really seeing him. They don't really have a desire to get to know him. It's very dismissive. So in here, so I'm only at page 47. So it's not like I know much of what else is coming. Like I said, the book is close to 600 pages. But so he was a few things that I found just really interesting in this section. One, he's participating in what he calls a battle royale, which I've never heard about. I'm gonna look that up too. Because these books, I'm learning some things about the culture. The culture. Stay in browser. What is a battle royale? It is a fight, often to the death, in which more than two combatants are engaged and the victor is the last surviving participant. So he goes to present a speech and he ends up becoming involved in this battle royale. And it's not what he wants to do. He just knows that he has to survive because he has this speech that he wants to deliver. And it's humorous, but it's also heartbreaking because you see his desire for, he uses the phrase equality, and automatically the people who have allowed him to speak are shutting him down. They don't want to hear that. That's not why they're here. That's not why they've allowed him to speak or given him the privilege to speak and address a group. They want him to talk about social responsibility, which is the attempt to keep people in the Black community within their confinements. So, talking about social responsibility is more speaking to people to keep yourself down, whereas talking about social equality is more addressing the other group and saying that we should be a part of that group as well. So, it's very interesting that it happens along the same time that this battle royale is happening, because he doesn't want to fight, but he has to fight. And it becomes like a metaphor for whatever else is happening, with his desire to speak and address this big crowd. Then he goes to a college, um, and it is, a Negro college, because this is the 1950s. So he goes to this Negro college and he's having a conversation with one of the founders. And it's just, there's a lot of moments, a lot of statements that are very reflective. How this young man speaks to someone in authority versus how he speaks to himself, and albeit how he speaks to the reader. So I'm very interested in this book. Let me know if you've read it. If if I'm the last to have finally picked this one up. So in 20 minutes, I read 25 pages. I'm very excited about that statistic, because it means that if I'm reading a little bit, and I wasn't reading fast, I wasn't reading faster than my normal pace. As a matter of fact, there were places that I stopped and read something that I had read before. So 25 pages in 20 minutes is not bad. Not bad. So I'm going to do some quick calculations. Do you know your reading speed? Do you know your reading speed? So if I can read 25 pages in 20 minutes, how long will it take me to read 580 pages? Okay. So about 8 hours, 7.7 hours, it says. If I just stayed home today and read this, I could finish this book today. I'm not going to say that is my plan, that is my goal. I'm very tempted to say it because that's one of my favorite phrases. Drop an emoji in the comments. This is my viewer match bingo. I'm trying to see if the emoji that you share is going to match something that I have already set aside on my viewer match bingo screen. So this is blocked out. Quick glance, because it's not really showing anyway. These are the emojis that no, that's not it. These are the emojis that it's not focusing. Okay. I think you got a little glimpse. Yeah. So those are the emojis that I have chosen. Drop an emoji in the comments. Let me know if you match. Let's see if we match. If you drop one before, you want to drop another one, that's also fine. A lot of the people who watch these live shows and these reading sprints, they watch them afterwards. So I won't be able to match them on here. But you can also drop me an emoji on Instagram. If you watch this later, speaking now to the viewers in the future, if you watch this later after the live show has wrapped up, drop your emoji in the comments here on the video on YouTube, or alternatively on my community. On my community tab, you can also put the emoji in the comments on my community tab. There's a picture there, or on Instagram. And I'll update my card later with your responses. But thank you so much, Fatima. Thank you so much for the flower. Let me think. I did not pick up the flower emoji on my card, but I think I could probably make it work for something else. Symbol of love, right? You give roses, red roses especially, are symbol for Valentine's. Okay, you're reading a romance novel. Okay, I got you. I got you. Yes. Um, I have that. I have that. Thank you, Fatima. We are matched. All right. No bingo yet, but we will keep trying. We will keep trying. We're going to have another reading sprint. Let me know in the comments also what book you're reading, if you want to share the title or you want to share a genre, if you're reading a story, if you're reading a magazine. Let's see. If you have a book recommendation to share, that would be great too. I have a video coming out on my YouTube channel later this week, I think, where I'm going to be sharing some book recommendations. Um, So I'm going to save my recommendations for a video. I mean, aside from the two books that I've just talked about, I'm going to keep reading this. The next reading sprint, we're going to pick up in 2 minutes. Start reading at 11:55, and we'll go for 25 minutes this time. And I'm going to try to see if I can get to a little closer to page 100. I don't think I'll be able to read to page 100. But in 25 minutes, I'm going to see if I can make my average a little better. So, yeah. Are you home? Are you at work? I know some people, depending on their job type, they have downtime where they can read and participate in things like this. I had a job like that one time. One time. Right now, I'm a stay-at-home mom, which is why I'm available to do these things during the day, and I'm not available to do these things in the evenings. So thank you so much for being here and hanging out with me. I enjoy talking back with you sometimes. I like making videos. I do like making videos. I get to edit myself because sometimes I say things that I probably shouldn't say. Sometimes when I talk about books, I say a little bit too much about the books. I like that I can edit my videos and take out things that would maybe spoil a reading experience for you if you're like me, because I don't like to know too much about a book going in. The reason I just told you maybe so much about Invisible Man was because it's 580 pages. And I don't think anything that I know in the first 45 pages is a spoiler. I was reading a book yesterday, finished it yesterday, and it was about 280 pages. And the synopsis gave away about the first 100 or so. And I don't like that. I don't like that because I want to know. I want to read the book kind of the way the author intended. I want to get the experience organically. I want to figure out who the characters are for myself without necessarily being told who the relationships are and who is going to be most significant. Like sometimes sometimes I read a book, um, you get like a lot of characters in the beginning and you're really wondering, well, who are we going to focus on most? Sometimes you get too much into a synopsis. So I try not to read a synopsis in its entirety anyway. If I read a synopsis, I'll read like this. Synopsis here is 2 paragraphs. I'll read the top one. I read the top one, and I try not to get into the second part because I don't want to know. I don't want to know. I want to know the first 100 pages before I read the book. So if you're like me, then yeah, maybe you think that too. All right, we're gonna start the next reading sprint. We're gonna go 25 minutes starting now. Are you reading the same book that you were reading first? Let me know. Fatima says she's working from home, working more than reading currently, but listening to this video. Thank you so much, Fatima, for allowing me to be part of your background. Appreciate that. All right, 25 minutes starting now. I'm going to keep reading Invisible Man. I'm going to see if I can get to page 100. See you on 12:20. Yeah, Fatima, going blind as much as possible. Readings. This is a tough scene. My goodness. Oh my. um, that was a lot. Um, I was reading this very difficult scene. I don't know if you could see it on me. And it went on and on and on in great detail. Um, in great detail. And it makes me think about the writing process, what an author wants to tell in a story, why he chooses some of the things that he includes as opposed to some of the things that he leaves out. Um, so remember, I told you I'm not reading the synopsis. So I'm not reading what happens in the book. I'm reading more commentary. Here is the statement. It says, first published in 1952 and immediately hailed as a masterpiece, Invisible Man is one of those rare novels that have changed the shape of American literature. For not only does Ralph Ellison's nightmare journey across the racial divide, I'm sorry, for not only does Ralph Ellison's nightmare journey across the racial divide tell unparalleled truths about the nature of bigotry and its effects on both the minds of both victims and perpetrators, it gives us an entirely new model of what a novel can be. Um, and I could see that because we start off following him in the north. We meet him and he's talking about his invisibility. He is he's a resident in Harlem in New York. And later in the novel, we see him, the part where I'm reading now, he is a student at a college in the South. And the chronology is a little fluid because in the beginning of the novel, he tells us that where we are in the story is more of the end, but it's also another beginning. So he's doing some time jumping along with his physical location shift. And so we're not completely sure what happens when. I'm imagining that his school days would have happened earlier, except that when he was doing that whole battle royale scene, um, was how he got. I don't want to tell you too much about what happens, but it is the preamble to him going to college. So I guess that part of the chronology is consistent with the book, but I do believe that we're going to jump around a little bit in time, and I'm really interested to explore that because a book that was set in the 1950s, the experience of Blackness in the North, in New York, is like a world away from the experience of Blackness in a place in the South where like the community is on the periphery of like I guess what we now call an HBCU, but back then was just like what they call a Negro college. Seeing the comparison of experiences of people who are students at the college with people who are living in the community, living on the periphery, but still a vast, like a world away in terms of experience. And, comparing that with the people who have the migrants, the great migration is what I'm referring to. I shouldn't call them migrants, but the people who are living in the North. So very interested to explore that range of experiences in this book. So I think I'm going to put this down for now. I want to read the next few pages, but All right, I think I'm going to do it. I'm going to, for next reading sprint, I'm going to read to the end of the chapter that I was in, so another 20 pages, but then I'm also going to pick up something else. I'm going to make some progress on this, just so I can say I read 2 books during the reading sprint. So I'm going to take a few minutes. And then I'm going to continue with this, read 20 pages, and then read some of this. Leave an emoji in the comments if you're just coming on. If you're just joining, leave a comment and emoji. You can comment here if you are following the live show, but you can also comment if you're watching this later. You could leave a comment on the comments in this video, or if you prefer, leave a comment in the community tab. I have my bingo, trying to play a little game today, seeing, just how connected we are through emojis. So made a little bingo card. And it looks like this on my Instagram stories. I still haven't figured out where to place it. So it looks like this on my Instagram stories. Each square is covered up. Below each of these covered up, scratched off squares is an emoji. And I'm hoping to make a bingo. So based on the emoji that you share in the comments, I'll see if we match. And even though I have specific singular emojis here on my card that I'm using to keep track, I also have words. So based on what your emoji is, I could probably try to match it to a word. So I'll tell you a couple of lines that I have, a couple of words that I have. Like I have an emoji for a computer, and I would use that to match anything that is computer related or tech related. I have a thumbs up emoji, which would mean like any kind of positive encouragement. If you want to comment what you're reading and say you're reading a self-help book, for me, that would be a thumbs up. Like I have something artistic. So like I have the painter's palette. And that would be for something that is an artistic expression. So if you're reading a book about art, or if you are making some art while you're watching this video, comment an emoji based on what you're doing, what you're thinking, what you're reading, what your book is about, anything. So I'm gonna take a couple of minutes. I'm just gonna go get myself another snack. So grab yourself a snack, and we'll come back here in 3-4 minutes to get started for our next reading sprint. Our next reading sprint is going to be at 12:35, and we're going to go until right before 1 o'clock. So grab a snack, grab a drink. I'm going to get some water and maybe some crackers, some cheese. I'll be right back. I'm going to put my book right here. That's my book. I'll be back. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I've been posting some short videos on Instagram. I've been doing like little weekly recaps, and last week I didn't finish much But in my recap, I'm showing the books that I've finished this week, as well as any books that I have started or made progress on. So I have to go back on my spreadsheet. Oh, you're on my computer. I've been using an Excel spreadsheet to track my books. I have to see what I finished last week. I know I read a romance novel, The Matchmaker by Aisha Saeed. We read that. I read that during a reading sprint last week, and I really enjoyed it. It was about a Pakistani woman living in Atlanta and her family. She's been kind of taking over her aunt's matchmaking business, and somebody's trying to sabotage the business, but she's also possibly sabotaging her own business from the inside. It's really interesting. So I read that last week and I really enjoyed it. It was a new release that I got from the publishers. So um, I'm working on a video. I'm working on a video, like a long form video on here. So you'll see that coming soon. I have, I think, one more book that I need to finish before I can post that video. So hopefully that will be later this week. But yeah, I'm going to be working on my reel later with my recap of what I read last week, all the books that I finished, which I think were 2, and anything that I started or have been making progress on. I've been reading for the BookTube Prize, but I haven't finished anything yet, which is concerning because last round, in the first round, in the octafinals round, by the middle of the first month, I had finished 2 books. And this time I have 5 of the 6 books in hand. What I own one. I think I got 4 more from the library, and I'm still waiting on another one. And I haven't finished any of them yet. So that is not good. That is not good. But I will make it up. So we are going to get started with our reading sprint. Another 22 minutes will take us to 12:55, 12:56. So our 22-minute reading sprint starts now. 22 minutes on the clock, reading until 12:56. Drop an emoji in the comments. Let me know what you're reading. Or what you're snacking on. I got to the end of chapter 3. So I'm going to start on this. Well, not start, but continue. So I'm reading this one now, The Care and Feeding of Ravenously Hungry Girls, a novel by Anissa Gray. And this is a picture of the author. So that was our last reading sprint for today. I think we did well. I finished, well, I'm up to page 31 in this book, but I had read a few pages. I think I was reading from page 12 to page 31. And, well, no, not page 31, page 30. I'm just about to start page 30. So that's where we're going to wrap it up today. I read some pages of this. I'm almost at page 100, and I read almost 30 pages of this one. No, I'm almost at page 100. I'm almost at page 30. So I think it was a productive couple of hours. I'm so glad that you came on. I'm so glad that you participated. I hope you read something that you loved. Let me know what that was. You can leave a comment here even after the live show has ended. The comments will be activated, so you can leave a comment afterwards. Comment an emoji. Let me know what you read or how you felt about what you read or what the subject of your book was. So I'm going to put an emoji because that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to leave 2 emojis actually. How does one do that on here? I usually comment using my phone. No? Okay. So I'm leaving an emoji for myself, but I can't match with that. So what we have on this live chat is emotes, which are different. All right. No, no, that doesn't work either. Okay. This is what I would put in the live chat if I was able to put the emoji. So, my books were about different experiences of Blackness, both of them set in America, and one showing comparison between different parts of America at a specific time. So, I would use the American flag as my emoji to represent this book. And I would probably use cell bars, prison bars, to represent this book because we're reading a little bit about a couple who has been incarcerated and what is happening with their family. So, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I really enjoyed it. I hope we'll be able to do another one before the end of the week, but I'm not sure which day yet. When I know which day I'll be home, then I will let you know, put it in the community tab here on YouTube, as well as let you know on Instagram stories. So if you're following me on Instagram, you'll see the announcement when I schedule the next live. But I'm trying to do like 2 of these each week, just because number one, it helps me read, it helps me spend some time where I'm actually making progress on books and being able to connect with you guys, have a little live feedback. So I enjoy these moments that we spend together, and I so appreciate you coming on and spending a part of your day with me. Thank you so much for being here. Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy whatever else you pick up to read for the rest of the day. Let me know. I'd love to hear what you've been reading and how you're finding it. And until we come back for another video or another live, happy reading. Bye.